Hello and welcome to our analysis of iCAT08. iCAT8 is the 8th mock in our All India level test series of full-length mocks for CAT. So, you would have taken 7 mocks so far and encountered a series of mocks of varying difficulties. iCAT8 is classified as a moderately difficult mock after the earlier tough ones in iCATs 4 and 5. So, how was this mock? As we said, it is classified as a moderately difficult mock with an average LOD of 2. For people listening to the analysis for the first time, we classify questions as well as sections in terms of 3 difficulty levels, LOD 1 being easy, 2 being moderate and 3 being difficult. So this mock had an exact average LOD of 2. Let us now move on to each section within this mock in their order of appearance. So we start off with the verbal section, which is typically of moderate difficulty in CAT. You have 1 hour to solve 34 questions. Again, so in this mock, the difficulty level of this particular section was moderate, slightly above 2. So to be precise, it was 2.03, which means that it was of moderate difficulty. Now, what was the structure within this section? We had 5 passages as usual. Among these passages, which were the easy ones and which ones should you have left? The first passage on Genghis Khan, or Genghis Khan as he is called, was quite easy. This should have been attempted simply because it was a pure history passage based on facts. Similarly, the last passage on the Mahabharata, again easy to read, easy to comprehend. One question was moderate, but it was on the whole an easy to moderate passage. So this could have been attempted. Among the other 3 passages that you had, there was one on geography based on the Great Barrier Reef of Australia. Possibly a good attempt. And then there was a longish passage on eclipses with 6 questions. This should have been attempted. So between these 4, there were 15 questions that you could possibly attempt. Even if you skipped one question here and there, you would have got 14 attempts out here. The passage on plays was quite difficult to comprehend. The questions were also difficult and it was beyond the comfort zone of most students. So this is something you could have avoided. Having looked at the RCs, now let's look at the non-RC questions, which are typically called the numerical entry or theta questions. As usual, you had jumbled sentences, out of context jumbled sentences, paragraph summary and paragraph completion. A variation that we had put in this paper was that you had 6 jumbled sentences. So a lot of plethora of jumbled sentences questions, most of which were moderate. So you could have attempted a lot of them here. Out of context as usual was difficult, para summary as usual slightly difficult, para completion was something that you could have tried. On the whole, there were 3 to 4 questions that you could have done very well here. Good attempt for this section would be somewhere in the range of 17 to 18, with approximately 13 to 14 out of these coming from RCs. Having looked at verbal, now let's move on to the next section, which is always by far the toughest section of a mock CAT or the actual CAT, which is DILR. This section was classified as difficult with an average difficulty level of 2.25, which means that nearly every set in this section would be difficult. So how many should you attempt? We always tell people to attempt between 4 to 5 sets. So here, which were the 4 sets that you should have looked at? The set on scores of Indian batsmen was doable because it would have been, the area would be of a lot of comfort to people in terms of cricket. Then there was a set on a schedule that Priya needs to follow while shopping. This was relatively easy. There was a set on students and their marks in 5 subjects, chemistry, maths, etc. This was easy. When I say easy, it's relative to the other set. It's not easy in absolute terms. And then there was a set on critical path, which was based on a line graph and a table. So these 4 were more or less doable. Then there were 2 other sets which were tough and tricky, but you could have tried them if you had time or if you struggled in the first 4. Which were these? So there was one set on knights and knaves where people made multiple statements. This could have been attempted based on your comfort zone. I have not included this in the must-do sets because a lot of students find knights and knaves tough. And then there was a set on 6 positive integers where you had to form equations and find various values. Again, doable based on your comfort zone with maths and equations and taking multiple cases, etc. Broadly, 4 sets doable. 1 or 2 sets you could have done a couple of questions. Number of good attempts here would have been 17 to 18 again, with 17 being more realistic. Finally, let's move to the last section of this paper. Typically the easiest section in CAT as well as in this mock. Here again it can be classified as between easy to moderate because the average LOD was close to 1.75, it was 1.71 to be precise. So we classify 1.75 and above as moderate. So here it was close to be moderate. Each QA section in the CAT mock or actual exam has close to 10 to 12 sitters or easy questions. The key is to identify these questions. So which were the easy questions in this mock? If you notice, you'll see that the easy questions were spread all across the mock, and so starting from question 68 then to 72, 73, 75 and so on. The trend here was that a lot of these questions were from arithmetic, some from algebra and a few from geometry. So generally the trend is that modern math is typically the toughest, followed by geometry, followed by algebra, followed by arithmetic. Again, a lot of questions between question numbers 85 and 100, that is the second half of the mock, were easy. To be precise, there were 7 easy questions in this range. So if I look at 86 to 100 and there are 7 questions, it's nearly half of that part. The first part of this, which is question 66 to 85, had hardly 6 or 7 questions. So here the ratio was less. Again, the moral of the story here is that if you go sequentially, you are liable to miss out on the easy questions. Please do spend time on scanning the math section and trying to identify the sitters. On the whole, an easy section. There were easily 14 easy questions that you could have attempted. Keeping an allowance for a few moderate questions that you could have tried, 18 attempts was a very realistic possibility. So broadly, to summarize this mock, it was a moderate mock with a moderate English section, tough DILR section and easy to moderate math section. The number of good attempts in this section would be 17 to 18 all around. Broadly, the number of good attempts in the mock would be between 51 and 53. This range would probably get you a very good score. Thank you and wish you all the very best for the other mocks. You can view this video and such other videos on this channel. You can subscribe to this channel for these videos. You can also like this video and please wait for our next analysis coming soon. Thank you.